Okay, this is the final part 3, and I'm going to finish it here. One last thing that I would like to mention with regard to a woman's prophetic calling, just so you understand. Why would God give the weaker vessel, a woman, a prophetic calling, and then put more constraints on their ministry? Because a woman prophetess is free to prophesy and to do the work, but not in church. Okay? So why would God put those constraints on a woman? I'm going to try to explain it right here. It says in the book of Proverbs that it is the glory of God to conceal a thing, but the honor of kings is to search it out. Ask yourself a question. It's hard to figure these things out, but it creates a wrestle, and that's what I'm going to talk about. Let's see. Let me go down. Okay, so here Dr. Hutchinson is explaining to Sally the wrestle. God establishes and glorifies many such wrestles. And you yourself understand, Sally, that it is our honor when we search and understand. In this way, I am helping you. I'm a man, and I've helped you understand wisdom. I have given you the ammunition so you can move forward in faith. But now, I have also grown from the process. Just like I wrote this book, I grew. And I'm also giving you this ammunition so you can grow. So I've wrestled, and now you'll wrestle. That creates a good wrestling that gets us in shape. Spiritual shape, so that we can endure. Do you understand? God uses these things. So just because you don't understand something or something is complex, don't shy away from it. That's God's will. It is the glory of God to conceal a thing. The honor of kings is to search it out. How much more is church? Do you think God cares about kings on this earth when He built the church? He cares about the church. Everything's an example for the church. Everything is for the church. And that's God's will. So if God's going to make kings search for things, how much more His own children? Okay? We need to search. And I'm trying to explain here, let's see, it's like a team of police officers, one man and one woman. Now the woman who chooses this lifestyle will be incredibly challenging herself. She knows she is not as strong as the men out there committing crimes. And she is susceptible to a lot of criminals who want to hurt her. This is like a woman becoming a prophetess. She is making her life harder than it needs to be. She's taking upon herself constraints that will wear her down, antagonize her, and give her much unrest. But what do you notice with women police officers? Their expectation is not as high as men's. Their expectations aren't as high. So even though you have more constraints, you're not expected to do the same type of work or to be as strong. A woman prophetess who has more constraints also has fewer expectations. When she fails, she will also have more mercy coming her way. When a woman police officer is overpowered, she will not be grilled by her male partner, because the male partner is going to understand that a 250-pound man is going to overpower a 135-pound woman. But here's the glory. As a man continues to work with the female officer in order to ensure they're doing the best job possible, there is much mercy in learning and also much honor in learning. Okay? And eventually growth. In a nutshell, when this exercise is happening, whether a male police officer is helping a woman police officer, having mercy on her, or a male prophet, or even the church for that matter, helping a woman prophetess, having mercy on her, there is much honor in this process. Get it? And this process is a process that God exalts. And this process does more work than you will ever imagine. And I'm going to read this real quick. This is Ephesians 3:25 through 32. Husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church, and gave himself for it, that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word, that he might present it to himself a glorious church, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that it should be holy and without blemish. So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. He that loveth his wife loveth himself. For no man has ever hated his own flesh, but nourishes it and cherishes it, even as the Lord does the church. For we are members of his body, of his flesh, of his bones. Okay? For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother, and shall be joined unto his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. For this is a great mystery, but I am speaking concerning Christ and the church. A woman has the authority from God to be a prophetess. She cannot do it in church for unbelievers' sake. It's very logical and technical. It's not hard to understand. There are certain things that will bring condemnation and shame. And if a woman tries to supersede those, she'll bring those upon herself. And you might say, well, if a woman cannot prophesy in church, then where could she prophesy? Honestly, everywhere else. You could write a book. You can have a YouTube channel. You could do this. You could do that. You have a lot of different options. But my advice to you is get really close to the Holy Spirit. Pray about it. I'm going to also, on the fly, I haven't prepared to do this, but the Lord reminded me. Let me see this real quick. Let's see. According to Judges 4:4-5, 2 Kings 22:14, and Luke 2:36-37, they all speak of women prophetesses. Okay? Those verses, and I'll try to speak a little slower so you can get everything that I'm saying. These verses all speak of women prophetesses, and they all have something in common. Deborah, Huldah, and Anna all had this one thing in common. It specifically says that all three women dwelt. They dwelt. With Deborah and Huldah, the text actually uses the word dwelt, implying that the prophetess was a fixture there, and that others would seek her there specifically. With Anna, it says that she departed not from the temple day or night. In essence, she dwelt there. The temple is where she could be found day and night. What I'm trying to highlight is that all three of these women prophetesses existed in the exact same situation. They became established in the place where they dwelt. Okay? The Bible specifically points out, even using parentheses in the case of Huldah, parentheses implying information that wasn't seemingly necessary except for the fact that God wanted to include it. Okay? I go on to form some things, but I'm going to finish this video. Basically, my advice to women who believe they're called prophetesses is you better really submit to God and really find out if that's His will for your life. You do not have the authority to teach, ever. You cannot create any reliance that people would be accountable to you. If you don't understand the mailman analogy, I can't help you. You reveal and you leave. You give and then you leave. You're not accountable. You're not an apostle. You're not there to prophesy and give the word and then stay there and make sure it sticks. It's not your problem if it sticks or not. It's an apostle's problem, not yours. If you prophesy and you give the message God calls you to give, you're free. There's no connection there. And if you try to create a connection, or if they try to create a connection and you do not obey God, you are going to end up causing problems. Okay? There's an example in the Bible where a man was told to go prophesy, and God gave him specific instructions. Don't talk to anyone. Don't drink any water from there. Don't eat there. He disobeyed, and he got eaten by a lion. Okay? And that's just a picture of what it's like to disobey. I'm not saying you're going to get eaten by a lion. What I'm saying is you will create condemnation and shame in your own ministry. If you supersede these things and say, no, I can teach. Yeah, you can teach, but you're not allowed. Yeah, I can create an accountability reliance. Yeah, but you're not supposed to, because it'll defile your gift. And it'll defile your ministry. Okay? So God does these things wise. A woman cannot be a pastor. A woman cannot be a teacher. They create reliance and accountability. That's not allowed. Okay? They cannot be apostles. They can be prophetesses. They can be a prophet. Yes, they can. Because there's no accountability and there's no teaching. There's only revealing and leaving. I'm still on the fence about evangelist. God has cautioned me not to talk about it. God basically told me time is going to reveal the answer to that. So, that's basically the way it is. If you want to fight this, and if you're a teacher and you enjoy doing it, then keep doing it. It's not going to go well with you according to what God's revealed to me in the Bible. To be a woman prophetess is something that is going to be difficult. You're going to have to lose your life in order what you want. I'm sure that if you truly are called of God to be a woman prophetess, you're already in training, and you know it for the most part. But why I feel maybe what God can do with this video is really hammer in that God does not want you teaching. He doesn't want it. It's not His will. And you could reveal things. A lot of the work that I have done, I believe, is prophetic, okay? So you can use what I've done on YouTube or writing books or writing on my website. You can use that as like a model. Do you understand what I'm saying? You can use that as a model of what God would permit you to do, okay? Okay, so I'm cautioning. I'm not saying do exactly what I did. I'm saying pray about it, draw close to God, because God has your answers. I don't have your answers. He does. I'm just giving you what He's given me and what He's revealed to me. But it is so essential that if you're a woman, that you draw close to the Holy Spirit and you realize that you can dwell and God will bring them to you. A lot of the women prophetesses in the Old Testament, they didn't go to the men unless God sent them. Okay? They didn't go. The people came to them. They dwelt at a place and people would come to them. Okay? I believe it's biblical right now, especially in these end times, that if a woman has that calling, you just need to stay put and obey God, and God will do the work to either bring people to you, or if it's God's will, He'll say, okay, go here and do this. Okay? But I believe it's biblical. The examples in the Old Testament, the women prophetesses were approached. They were approached by people, and they just sat in a place, and they were the ones who were approached. So that can give you some insight. But I hope this video was clear. I hope the Lord is going to quicken these things to your heart, help you to understand that it's not God's will that the women teach or preach or be in churches speaking like that. It's not allowed. You can't do it. And you can't reason it, and you can't justify it. And as the church wrestles with this concept, as the church wrestles, I believe information is going to get more powerful. Revelation is going to quicken itself, and everything is going to gel together better. Do you understand? I think that it's going to happen. Because the Bible is very clear in these end times that the women are going to also prophesy, and it's going to happen. And I'm trying to do my part to prepare the women and to align them, because when God uses you as a prophetess, you're going to be good there. That's going to be between you and the Lord. What you need to know is what not to do. And I've done this video so you understand you are not to teach, you are not to preach, you are not to be in churches speaking. It's not God's will for your life. And if you're doing that and you believe God's called you as a prophetess, you need to get right. That's why I'm doing this video. Regarding God using you as a prophetess, that's between you and God. And if you truly are a prophetess, it's going to work. You and God are going to do that. So I'm not going to go there. I've given you my model, my internet, and the website, YouTube, or whatever. But that's between you and the Lord is faithful. He'll do that inside of your heart. This video is to tell you what not to do and why. Okay? So don't do those things. Don't teach, don't preach, don't be in congregation speaking. Do not put yourself in any position that you're accountable over people, and people are relying on you. If you are a woman, that is not God's will for your life, and it will never be.